Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
My name is Dr. Maurice J.Casey and I'm the historian in residence here at EPIC, the Irish Immigration Museum and the Department of Foreign Affairs. And broadly, I'm a historian of progressive politics in Ireland and the diaspora in the 20th century. Well, in part, this exhibition is a link to the recent transformation of Ireland that we've seen in the referendums in 2018 and with repeal, and in 2015 with the marriage equality referendum. Political change in Ireland, particularly progressive political change in Ireland, has often been shaped by the emigrant experience. People who found models of community and activism abroad, who've then returned to Ireland with those models, which have shaped how Ireland has transformed to be a more inclusive place today. One thing that we're really tracing through the story of this exhibition is how complex the story is. It's not just, people experience depression in Ireland as a result of the LGBTQ+ identities, which they did, but also they faced prejudice abroad too. And it was in those challenges and in responding to those challenges that many of them developed ideas about what community should look like and how different sort of strategies about how you can make society more accepting.
So I'm Roisin and this is my daughter, Niamh. We live in Northern Ireland and we've come down to Dublin just for an overnight stay. One thing that struck me actually was the Michael Dillon part of the exhibition. I didn't realise, first of all, that there were transgender operation happening back then. And then to realise that he was the first was quite impressive, to be honest.
The exhibition panels are built around 12 stories, which are featured under 6 themes, and our themes are exclusion, community, love, solidarity, defiance, and return. People shared stories with me once they knew that I was engaged in this research. People shared their own personal histories or pointed me towards different significant stories. Really, the themes are designed to be suggestive of a broader experience without stating that we are covering it in its totality. This LGBTQ+ diaspora experience is really diverse, it's really vast, and so the exhibition is really seen as the kind of start of a conversation rather than an end point.
Hello, I'm Richard O'Leary, and this is actually my first post-lockdown excursion. So it's fitting that it should be to this exhibition. Just actually got off the train, come straight here, couldn't wait. It's just great to be back and for Dublin to be hosting an exhibition like this because it's so affirming. And unbelievable because I came out in the late 80s and it was unimaginable that even though we'd have decriminalisation or marriage equality or that the public institution would be celebrating our lives.
As part of ensuring that we have as wide a representation as possible, but also to ensure that we begin this conversation about how important that diaspora has been, we have both here at EPIC our stories wall where people can write up their own stories, but we also have a story sharing portal on our website at outintheworld.ie where people can share their stories perhaps in more longer form and submit links and so on, and then we feature those stories on the website along with images of these stories written up here.
I no longer live in Dublin, and I'm probably one of those people who emigrated because I'm gay and this wasn't a very comfortable place to live before decriminalisation in 1993. Plus, I think those of us who are older carry some damage from the earlier period. in terms of our family relationships, disruption to our careers. I was very close to my mother, and I didn't come out to my mother because she was devout Catholic, and that's something that I have to carry, and that'll be the case for many older LGBT. So there's also kind of a sadness when you visit exhibitions like this, because it reminds you how hard it was.
One thing that's really important part of the story that we tell here is about how models of community and activism abroad have really shaped domestic politics in Ireland. One panel that really gets that story across is the one that's behind me. It's about a community that emerged in the 1970s on Railton Road, which is a road in Brixton in South London. Someone told me, for example, that the first gay couple to appear on Irish television were a couple who had spent time together on Railton Road. And another activist told me that when he visited his sister in London in the 1980s, he spent time in Railton Road, and that gave him that experience of an open community. That experience could be very inspirational for people who visited Railton Road. So for me, it shows how people left Ireland and found a place of sanctuary, but also how those places of sanctuary and the experience of living there and those different forms of community and what it would mean to be and exist in this world as an LGBTQ+ person were experiences that were also brought home and transformed the world, really. The greatest thing that could come out of this exhibition, I think, is that the stories, particularly the lesser known stories, become better known.
I'm sure for anyone who comes to it, they will just be surprised at how much kind of Irish queer diaspora history is out there that we've never been taught about in schools. I think this exhibition is going to raise wider awareness.
Art history is really important for marginalised communities, and having that sense of history is really important for staking a place in a nation like Ireland.
Yeah, it's really nice to see a real and positive representation of queerness in Ireland.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. That's nicely put, yes.
The exhibition looks lovely as well, which is always nice, good queer taste.